and we'll give you the thing, but I'm happy the way that you have presented it with nice, bold and all that. So that is how you must do in the exam also. Put underline in bold and all that, because when you are writing a report, you must present it in a way people will read it. If you just do sketch and cut in and that kind of a thing, no one would want to read it, isn't it? So I like that way, because first time I saw some student write in that form, because most of the people just write in without considering all the presentation. But this is good. But I will go to the whole thing tonight, and I will let you know tonight how I feel about the answer. Right. So today, okay, Roham, you are not, I know you are very busy with the office and all that kind of a thing. It's all right. So what I'm going to do, what we will do is we will take up that one and discuss it. But before I go into that mock part of it, again, I want to look at the various alternate strategies available for this company. Because this company is in trouble, isn't it? Already it is in trouble. It's a family company. They have not, I think, thought about growth or strategy or anything. Suddenly they have found that the supermarkets are not paying them well and the costs are slightly increasing, but surely they are into a lot of difficulty. The cash balance is very small amount. Revenue is coming down, profits have come down. So it's a difficult scenario for them. So like what we saw, they can decide to merge with another company like Milko, but where they are manufacturing cheese or butter or something like that. Hopefully where they can get better prices. So that's one thing. Because the supermarkets are not paying enough for their products, milk. Another strategy may be for us to start manufacturing cheese or whatever, but that's a very difficult one, because you have to learn everything. So the way that they were looking is much more better to merge with another company or to acquire another company that is manufacturing, right? Another thing which is very emotional, difficult to say, but I think the time has come. They don't have any money. Maybe to sell this company to a third party, right? But not to get money into the hand, we can offer them to buy over this company. You understand? A big company to buy our company. Not to pay money, but the consideration to be paid in form of shares of that company. You remember in the F3, there are two ways we can pay the consideration. One by cash, one by shares. Right? So now imagine if it is in Sri Lanka, a company like Cargill's or some people, we ask them, come and buy our company. Give us shares in Cargill's. Right? So we will manage the company for Cargill. But the Cargills will have lot of money to invest to put new technology, all that, and probably to that one, we also will benefit. We will not be the owners of the thing, but we will be managing, so we can come to an agreement, management agreement or something like that. For next 10 years, they will keep us employed or something like that. We can do something like that. Right? I worked in a company where we bought some loss-making hotels, and what we did was we converted, we gave those people shares in our company shares to those people, and they work for us. So that can happen. But sometimes in a family concern, it's very difficult to convince them for a thing like that. Because 150 years old company, the grandfathers, the great grandfathers company. Now for the younger generation, the Max Henderson and the Julie and the Archie, to sell that company to some other people may not be very tasty. But we have to be in the reality also. If we don't do something, they will collapse. And then the company is gone, right? No longer anyone will know after 20 years there was a company called ADF. Now, if you look at Sri Lanka scenario, there are some companies, some big companies who have bought small companies, and that small company is also doing very well today. Right? Small companies also doing very well because they got a big company to come and look after them. You are not going to be the controlling people, but you will get your salary. You will get, if the big company makes a profit, you will get a dividend, and you can stay. So that's another strategy you can think of. Then another strategy I was thinking this morning, which again I have tried in some companies, is to, in addition to this work what we are doing now, remember these people, they are experts in farming, isn't it? Now what is their problem? They don't have enough capital. But today in business world, you get lot of work what we call consultancy, isn't it? Consultancy. The Archie, the Julian, and all those people, they can do consultancy for other farm companies, farmers, and make some money for the company. Consultancy work, no capital investment, right? You just invest your time, you have the knowledge, you have the experience, and you can do that kind of a thing. What is the capital you require? You require only a computer and something, but maybe that kind of a thing. Not too many big things, but you can go to a farm, inspect the farm, find out what is wrong in that farm, and you can charge a fee for that. So that way, without any capital investments, they can do, because now you remember these five people, they are fairly all right in the company, right? They have a second level of set of people, the shed managers. They must be the people who are really running the farm. So I suppose you can ask them to run the farm. Even you might promote them as the farm managers, and you, the Max Anderson, the Susan, and all the people they can even form a subsidiary company and do consultancy. I have done this in some of the private sector companies where they were collapsing. I suggested that, look here, you all have the experience, why don't you all go and do consultancy for others, right? They will accept because they will know that you all are the good farm people doing lot of good work, reputation wise very good. So you can do that kind of a thing. Another thing one of the students told me was, why don't we think of new market? Rather than selling to supermarkets, can't we sell it to 5-star hotels? Hotels needs milk, isn't it? Hotels need milk. So can we sell it to hotels, the milk that what they are producing? It is a good idea because the hotels may pay a better amount than the supermarkets may be. But one of the problems will be, you have to remember, each cow here is given about 30 liters of milk. 30 liters of milk average. 1,600 cows will give us 48,000 liters of milk. 48,000 liters of milk. You see these bowsers that is going on the road in Jaffna, these petrol bowsers and all that. It carries 6,000 liters of right. It carries you are staying closer to the station. Right. Which station? Jaffna or no? Right. Okay. Because when we came, we went to see the Jaffna station also. So just to see that one. Nice station, no? Jaffna station. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So what I was telling you, the Bowser, the spectral Bowsers, what you see on the road, it carries 6,000 liters. Right? So that's the normal size of a Bowser. So every day to transport this milk of this company, you need 8 Bowsers of that size. Isn't it? So you have to see, you have to think of the big quantity of milk that is being produced. So maybe one hotel may not be interested in buying 48 tons of milk unless you can find a number of hotels. Number of hotels. Even maybe supermarkets, it may not be one supermarket, many supermarkets. Now if you look at Sri Lanka, it may be Keels and Cargills and all the people buying the milk. Right? We do not know. But it's a big quantity what they are selling, because you remember these companies in the small scale farms, this is one of the larger companies, the largest. So in that small scale size company, this is one of the largest companies. From that angle, you can see. So maybe it's a good idea. But I was thinking whether we should not diversify the market, keep the supermarkets also, but try and capture hotels or restaurants or some other customers also, rather than depending on one customer. Now that is what is their problem, no, isn't it? Hmm? That is what their problem is. Because they are depending on what they have been, uh, one customer. One customer dependence is not good for any business. You must diversify suppliers, diversify your customers, diversify products. That's the way a company should go. So that is why yesterday we were talking, they should produce milk and they should also go into the cheese manufacturing rather than just doing cheese, because again cheese also can be the same story. Some people will say we don't want your cheese, you are in trouble. So the strategy for any company today in the business world is to diversify. That is why you can see, say in Sri Lanka, for example, the big companies like John Keels, they have diversified into all the activities. Even the upcoming new companies like SoftLogic, they are diversifying into all the activities. They don't depend on one. So there's a famous English saying, no saying, what is that? Don't put all your eggs in one basket, isn't it? Hmm? So you must try and get many customers, many suppliers, many products. Earlier, long time back, the style was one product, one kind of a thing. Elephant House was producing the soft drinks only. But today Elephant House is producing soft drinks, ice cream, frozen food, all those things. Why? Because they know they can't rely on one product and survive. So this is the strategy for any company, and this is what they should be looking at. Right? So you have to think like that. Now I want you to, next couple of days when you are going to sleep, you must think about the ADF and think what are the ways, think that you are working in this company, what are the ways we can think of, getting out of this present problem. But you have to be realistic also, because you can't think of dreams. You can't think of, issuing shares to the market. You can't think of investing 100 million and doing a new project kind of a thing. You have to understand the limitations. What are the limitations in a family managed company? You remember in your F3, you would have studied something called internal constraints, constraints on financial strategy. Most of the private companies, family companies, they don't want to expand. Why? For them to expand, they want money. If they want money, they have to go to the market or outsiders and raise money. But they don't want to do that one, because they don't want any outsiders to walk into their business. I think in your area, I think you're more familiar on that kind of a thing. In your community, we know that they don't want the girls to go out of their family caste and family network, isn't it? Right? They want, so the businesses also, they want it to be in the family. So particularly in your area, your community, they don't want to unnecessarily grow and get into a big mess. they want to remain the same family style, family culture, because they respect the culture. Sometimes when some other people come and take over, they might overrun you and you might lose your cultural values, particularly the communities like Hindu community. They have a sacred culture which they have to, they want to maintain. So similarly here also, understand, right? So you have to think on those areas and think what are the ways we can. So I was thinking one way is to sell this company to another big company. Selling in the sense I'm not asking money. I'm saying come take our company, give us shares in your company, we will manage. So we will have our job source. We will manage this company for you all and give us the guidance, give us the financial support, give us the technology expertise. We will run it and we will be better off. You all also will be all right. This is a good company, 150-year company, that kind of a thing. Another strategy is like what we are talking about now. Take a company like Milko and go into some value-added product like butter or cheese or something like that. Another strategy is to think of doing some consultancy work and trying to make some money for the company using your knowledge and all that, because the farming industry needs lot of consultancy input. I know. I was in a company where we were running a hotel company, but we had a farm. So the hotel people don't know the farm, the things and all that. So they got some consultants to do that part of the work. So they will come and say the soil is good, the grass is good, this is good, that is bad, all that. So it's a good thing to get some. So you can do that kind of work. Today, when you get qualified as a SIMA accountant, you have lot of opportunities, not that you have to work every day for for some other person. You can do a lot of consultancy. Using your knowledge, you can do a lot of consultancy and make lot of money without being under obligation to some other people. You can use your time and do it, that kind of a thing. So, those are possibilities. Then the final one, what I said was, selling that kind of a thing is also possible. So you have to think. There may be many other strategies. This something that came to my mind today this morning, and I'm now trying to work out a mock on that one. And let's see how we can do it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at just this thing. Oh no. Yeah, this one. So it's now 1 week later. So remember we had a proposal come in. The Susan said that, I was told by my father and them to look for an opportunity. I found an opportunity. So we wrote about that one. So 1 week later, it is your boss, Max Anderson, who is sending you the email. Right? Thanks for your help with this proposal so far. Board is now seriously considering acquiring Milko and need your help again to progress. So after discussion, after 1 month, after 1 week, they are seriously considering to acquire Milko. Now, again, you have to remember, just because seriously considering, you don't need to agree with them on that one. If they have bought it, you have no other alternative. Now you have to support. Still, till the last moment, if the things are not really, you are not convinced, you must make it a point to say, I'm not convinced. Understand? Right? Because they rely on you, because you are a senior person, you are a person with SIMA knowledge, professional competency, so they rely on you. Attached to this email is a letter from Milko CEO and summary of other information I put together. At our last family meeting, I understood you do not understand how to value a company and they are worried about paying too much to acquire Milko. Using all of the information at a draft and email that I could send to my family members so that we could take up at our next meeting, that explains what the difference values represent and recommend with reasons what would be the useful to negotiate a price to acquire Milko. As you are aware, ADF strives to achieve high standards of ethical and responsible behavior. Could you email with your analysis of the business and ethical risk in respect of Milco's current management? What action should we take in respect of Milco's current outsourced employees if we were to acquire them? Now, wherever there is a reference material, before we try to note down what are the requirements, we must go and read the reference material. Otherwise, you will try to note down the requirements, which may not be the right thing, but you should be looking at. So here we had a letter from CEO addressed to Max. Further to our meeting last week, I'm writing formally to advise you, myself, my fellow directors are interested in holding talks with ADF to perceive ADF to purchase of the Milko factory. As we discussed, my father, who founded Milko, retired due to poor health 5 years ago. My family and I have worked hard to build and grow milk, and we are proud that we have a market for our entire production of cheese, which can be doubled with little quality improvement. We would like you to consider purchase price of not less than 5 million. Our valuation is based on our forecast of the future cash flows for next 5 years, which includes our estimates of a modest growth in revenue and profit each year. We look forward from hearing. So, Errol Bana, CEO. Then our Max Anderson, your boss, has gathered some information. Milk is an unlisted family-run business which has seen a decline in revenue and profitability over the last 3 years. Cash flow data, latest financial statements are calculated NPV equivalent of 3 million. Per published price of Milko states that the current assets are valued at 1 million. Milko expansion to increase production capacity will require 3 million. Milko does not have any HR function and they employ most outsourced employees with no permanent employees contract. Use hire and fire method. There have been numerous reports in the Highland Daily News about the factory accidents at Milko due to lack of training for its employees. Milko does not invest any money on employee training or machinery. Milko selects its employees based on lowest daily wages demanded by the potential employees. So now you have read all the things. So now you have to go and note down what are your tasks. So can you note down what are your tasks now? Yeah, look. Yes, as you were. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Could you email with analysis of business risk, ethical risk, and about the Milko's current in ethical in respect of what with the analysis of business and ethical respect of current management of its employees. What action should be taken in current outsourced employees? Yes. Good. Right. So now we know what we are supposed to do. Now you have to think how to start on the workings. So what do you think we can do on this scenario now? Right. So now again, now we know what it is. Basically, you can see, could you email with your analysis of the business and ethical risk and current management? What action should we take in respect of Milko's current employees if we were to acquire the Milko employees? Yeah. So now we will start on this one and think about what are the before that we missed something, right? Now that's what you have to be careful. In this case study, they look at read the second para. Second para, read it at our last meeting, yes? Yeah. 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 So you have to be careful because of this I took it from another past exams. Right, you can see as immediately your mind will go to the final part, business risk, ethical risk, because that is the last part. But you can see here he is telling something I draft an email that I could send to so that we could take up and that explains what different values represent. Understand? That is the main part of it, but it is somewhat hidden. So unless you read it very carefully, you might miss that point altogether. You might go and write about the business risk, ethical risk and how to mitigate it, but you might miss the main point. Main point is all about that, what he feels is the sister and the brother and the mother and the father does not understand any about these valuations and what the different values represent. Now, 99% of the students were writing the different valuation methods, right? Net assets method, P ratio method, cash flow method, all that. But that is not the question. They are asking what the difference value represents and because remember there are three values here mentioned. Their CEO said 5 million. Our max says 3 million. Our the non-current assets are 1 million. That is what he is asking. You understand? They are not asking about your F3 valuation methods. 99% students wrote the valuation methods and they thought they have written nicely. But that is not what the question is. The question is so that we could take up at our next family meeting that explains what the difference values represent. You must be always focused on not on your F3 textbook, not on your E3 textbook, not on your P3 textbook, on this question, on this scenario. So on this scenario, there were three prices mentioned. So that is what we have to discuss and say what is the 5 million what Errol Bernard is talking, what is the 3 million what Max Anderson is talking, what is the 1 million that is in the non-current assets of the financial statement. Right? So that is what we should be talking about here. So first of all, let's talk about the figure that our Errol Bernard, the CEO of the other company, has sent it us. So we can start off saying when you are valuing an unlisted company, right? It is basically the share valuation or the valuation is not a science, but it is an art, and it is basically the negotiation that will make the final price. You remember in your F3 would have come across if it's a listed company, you have a market price, isn't it? You can value the company on the market price. But again, if it is a listed company and if they want to buy, if your company is a listed company, let's assume ADF is a listed company, and if some person wants to buy controlling share, majority share, let's assume for example, the market price is 15 rupees per share today. If you are rich and you want to buy this company. Now, how much should you offer? How much should you offer? 15 is the market price. Less than 15. Now, 15 is the market price, right? So if you want to buy 100 shares, 200 shares, 1000 shares in a company, you will give a call to your stockbroker and say, hey, I want to buy 1,000 shares of Ceylon Cold Stores, $15, 15 rupees, can you buy me 1,000? So stockbroker will say, okay, I can buy it, right? But if you are showing that you want to buy the total share capital of Cold Stores is 10 million, but you want to buy 6 million shares. So you think you can offer price less than the market price? How much should you offer? How much should you offer? 15, 14 or 16? 15, 14, 15 is the market price. If you want to buy a big number of shares, how much should you offer? 16. Why? Yes, good. Yes, so yes, we want to control the company. So that means the shareholders of this company knows there is a demand for those shares, isn't it? Understand? There's a demand for those shares. So when there's a demand, what happens? Price goes up. Price goes up, isn't it? Hmm? So whenever there's a demand for a particular product, the price goes up, right? So because of that, generally, you have to remember that one. When you are buying a listed company, if you are buying 10%, 15%, that kind of a thing, you can buy it at the market price. But if you are buying a controlling share, because then that means there's a big demand for shares, the shareholders will raise the price up. They will never give it at 15. They will ask another 20% premium. So you may have to pay about 18 to buy the controlling interest. You understand? Right? So that's the way the shares are, the share transactions happen in a acquisition in a listed company. But here we are dealing with a non-listed family concern. So here we don't have a market price to go by. So basically we have to go on the basis of the two perceptions of the two companies, right? Who is more keen to sell or who is more keen to buy? Now, imagine you have a block of land in Jaffna and you want to get married and you want some money and you want to sell it, right? You want to sell it. There's another buyer. He is not really interested, but because you want to sell it, he is wanting to buy, right? Now, in that case, probably you have to lower the price because you are more keen to sell than him wanting to buy it. Correct? On the other side, look at that you have a very super property in Jaffna town and you are not interested in selling, but other party is very interested to buy. He comes behind you to buy the property. Then you will increase the price. Isn't it? So again, it goes on the demand and the supply. So it all depends. Now, who is more interested? Is Milko interested in selling or is ADF interested in buying? So it all depends on that perception. The price will be decided very much on that one. If we are very keen on buying, much more than Milko wanting to sell it, we might offer Milko's price and buy. But on the other hand, we are not really interested, yes, if it comes, we'll take it. If we don't come, we don't take it, that kind of a thing. We will stick to our guns and wait. Our price is 3 million. Their price is 5 million. If it comes at 3 million, we will buy. Otherwise, we will not buy. So that is the way how the negotiations will take place. So the question is the 5 million what they have put up as a price, what is that price? So they say they have taken the future cash flows with a modest growth. Now the question is, can they take a modest growth when the profits have been coming down, the revenues have been coming down in the past 3 years? Can they think of a modest growth when the profits are coming down, when the revenues are coming down in the past 3 years? So very unlikely, right? Very unlikely. When you are doing well, you can, yes. But when the things are down, you can't expect a growth. And the most likely reason, that's what I told you in the unseen, we have to read every line, every sentence. The most likely reason may be the father retiring from the business, because these farming business are very family oriented, traditional business. So the father would have retired. Father would have been a very simple person, kind of a person. And now, the sons have taken over. Sons may not be that simple, may not be, they may be very sophisticated. People may, the normal worker cannot approach them, talk to them, that kind of a thing. They are always with the mobile phones and the, tabs and all that kind of a thing. So maybe the business is not flourishing because of the father's retirement. Or maybe because some other competitors have come and they have taken their places and they are not doing well. Or maybe you remember they are selling to South America, there may be currency fluctuations and they are not getting good prices for their products nowadays. There could be many reasons why they are not doing. So probably you may want to analyze and see what is the reason. So basically the question is, should we acquire based on the figures given by Errol Berner, their CEO, or should we take it based on our Max Anderson's figures, which is based on past history? Past history. So we know it's an unlisted company. There is no market price. And also we have to be, remember I told you yesterday, we have to do something called due diligence. Due diligence. And we have to see whether the financial statements are properly, fairly mentioned, stated. Maybe if it's not audited, you may want to get it audited, that kind of a thing. So the reason for the downfall need to be properly invested, and according to their cash flow, it's based on modest growth, and a 5 million is their figure. According to our one, based on our their past history, we have gone on 3 million, and the next figure that we have in that document is value of non-current assets. So generally, the value of non-current assets is what we call the flow value. The flow value means the minimum value. Flow value, FLOOR. LOOR. Flow, yes, that's the minimum value. You remember in your this thing in your P3, you would have come across cap and the flow. Cap and the flow. Cap is the highest, flow is the minimum, isn't it? Between that, we have the column. So the flow means, in our terminology, it's the minimum value. So normally, when the company is being sold as a non-going concern, we take the net assets value, the assets value, right? So here, the non-current assets has a minimum value of 1 million. So it has to be surely more than 1 million. So the negotiating range will be between 3 and 5 million. 3 is our figure, 5 with their figure, right? So we have to finally recommend which reasons, what will be the thing. So it all depends on many things, the many factors. So you will list out some of the factors. Number one factor will be any redundancy payment that we will have to pay for the people whom we have to, make redundant because of our takeover. Very unlikely that we are going to have a lot of redundancy because most of the employees are outsourced employees. Right? Very, very unlikely. Then we have to consider the additional expansion. We need the 3 million. That also must be considered. So when we are deciding on the price, we must decide not only what we have to pay, but also the additional expansion, what is 3 million. Right? Then we have to look at whether these people will the technical know-how when they will impart it to us, when they will give it to us. So that's what yesterday we discussed something called, what is that? Earn-out arrangement. Earn-out arrangement, right? So probably you may agree something like a 3 million and 5 million in between, but you will say you will pay upfront so much, the balance will be paid after maybe 2 or 3 years, so that we will have enough time to learn the art of cheese manufacturing. So that is the first part of the question. So you can see, we could have missed that part, isn't it? So in the exam, you must be very, very clear to read every little bit and find out exactly what he is asking. Read it twice. Read it thrice. Take about 15 minutes reading the question, because for me, I have seen the success or the failure of this exam depends on how much well you understand the question. Not that you have no knowledge, right? It is basically you go on the wrong track and give a wrong answer, which is not what the examiner is looking for. You are given a brilliant answer, but that is not what he is asking for. So you have to be very careful. Don't set your mind on what you know. Look at what she is asking from you. Right? Right. So now we talk about the business risk. Yes. So don't tell you didn't do your homework, but now you think. Now you think what are the business risks that we have when we take over a company like this? What are the business risks that we have? Just think. Don't think. Don't go too serious. Just think. When we take over a company, right? Imagine you are going to take over this Milko. Yeah. When you want to take over Milko, what are the business risks what you face? Yesterday you told me something. Yeah. Yes. Correct. Yeah, because the technical know-how of manufacturing cheese and value-added products is not with these people, right? So it's a big business risk that they are taking. So the only way for them to mitigate is to invite or to keep these existing people. But we can see that most of the time they are working with outsourced employees. So they may not have a lot of permanent people in the staff, right? So you might have to work out and see whether there are good people, key people who are working on outsourced basis. Maybe you want to absorb them into the permanent setup. Maybe you want to absorb. Maybe you will want to keep the present directors, the management staff of Milko on an earn-out arrangement so that they will work with us in union, in partnership for next couple of years. Right? That's one. There's a bigger risk. Yeah, good. I mean, this is a risk. But I want to think of another risk. I have seen this happening in many organizations. It's something like this. Now, I sell my company to you. I'm a good cheese manufacturer. I sell my company to you. You are the ADF. So I take money and sell this company to you, and I get out. And I go and start another new company to manufacture cheese. So I go and start a new company to manufacture cheese. Okay, you might use the Milko name. I will say Milky or something like that. And but people will know it is this Kumar who was the Milko owner now doing cheese under Milky name. So they will, because I'm very well known for my good cheese, they will still come to me. Isn't it? So you have bought my company, but no one is buying your milk, cheese. South American market, they are not going to buy cheese. How to avoid that happening, Lakshana? How to avoid that happening? After I sell, I start another business, similar business. How to avoid that? What can you do? What can you do? You can enter into an agreement. You can enter into an agreement, a no competition agreement. Understand? agreement. Yes, you sign an agreement with Milko directors that for next 5 years they will not start a competitive trade with us. Of course, they can do unethical way without putting their name. They can put some other person's name and back them and do. You can't stop it. But at least you can mitigate by putting up a condition like that. Now I was working in a company. We had a roofing company in India, right? We had a roofing company in India. We sold it. We sold it to some Indians. But we signed an agreement with those Indians saying that we will not come and start another roofing company in India for next 5 years. Because, our product was very well known in India and everyone knew that who are the people behind it. So if we start a new company and say that, the same people behind it, the people will come behind the names. And also you remember we were thinking of changing it to ADF, the name, isn't it? So if we change it to ADF, it is going to be still worse because those fellows can use the name Milko. So we had to put up a condition all the time whenever we buy something that the seller will not restart a competitive business within next 5 years or give a stipulated time period so that we can set our feet upon it. Otherwise, we will not have time to settle down. Understand? Is it clear for you? Right? So that's something which you can do. So that's another risk that we have. They starting a different business to compete with us. So way to avoid that one is you want for them to have an agreement with us, a non-competition agreement. What are the other business risks we have? We have bigger risk. Finding money, isn't it? Raising money, raising the capital. Yeah, it's part of the business risk. Yes. Yeah, in a way, what you are thinking is in the F3, we have the financial risk and business risk separately, right? So financial risk is gearing part of it, business risk is. But when it comes for a question like this, all are business risks associated with the business. Associated with the business. So because of that, what we have to look at is we have to look at finding money also as a big risk. What else can you think of? Yeah, that also we have to find it, isn't it? That also, in addition to the capital to buy the company, we have to find money for that one also. What is the? Yeah, yeah. How to mitigate this cash flow problem? How to? Earn out arrangement. Also, we can Okay. Yeah, if there is any excessive asset, we can sell and make some money. Very good. That's a good thinking, right? And also, we can think of issuing shares to Milko directors, Milko shareholders, rather than paying money. Share consideration here, right? We can make a share consideration offer so that we don't need to raise money. But of course, it will have a implication. Our control will get diluted because they also will become part of the shareholders of our company. But that may be the way out. Or we have to think of a private equity company to come and invest because they come and invest for a short period, not longer period, 5-7 years. They will invest on equity and after that it's like a venture capitalist. They will come and invest 5-7 years maximum and then they will sell the shares. They will want us to go public or maybe they will want to buy their shares at that time and they will move out. Because as I said, very unlikely a bank will give money for this company now. So private equity participation is possible, right? Private equity participation. That's another way that you can think of. What is the other one you said just now? You said about employees, no? Yeah, because they have lot of outsourced employees, no fixed permanent employees. So you can't run, because our company's ethical standard is we have some good employee relationships. So when we take over this company, we must maintain the same standards. Otherwise, we can't maintain double standards. We can't have one standard for ADF and one standard for Milco. So we have to look for the good key employees and make them permanent. Offer them offer them good remuneration package and make them permanent. So that's the way that you should be looking at. So those are the business risks. Any other business risks that you could think of? Yeah, you didn't want to know. You want to know why, no? You want to know why. If it is something due to the management problems, maybe we can correct it, right? But if it is something due to the market problems, then it's a very serious thing. Also, one of the operational risk is the management, because our management time is now spent on our own ADF farm management for farms. So when we take over a company like this, we have to, it will be a strain on our management time, isn't it? It is going to be a strain on our management time, because our management time now we have to put it for this company also. So that can be a bit of a strainful thing. So maybe the way out is to recruit some managers and train managers. Either we can give the ADF for them to run so that we can run Milco, or that way something must be done on the management side of it. What are the ethical risks? What are the ethical risks? Yeah, yeah, because we are paying the lowest wages, so we may not be getting the quality staff. We are producing something for the consumer market. Uh, Cheese is something that we consume, and if it is not of quality, there can be hygiene issues. So there can be ethical considerations arising through that angle. Also, we are not providing the Milco is not providing training. So the staff is not well trained. They meet with lot of accidents. There can be lot of injuries, that kind of a thing. That is also will be an ethical risk. So we need to take permanent staff. We need to train them and put them on a code of conduct. Code of conduct. That means we will tell them whenever they are moving, they will have to put their boots or whatever, their safety equipment, safety clothing, all that kind of a thing. And the place must be kept proper, clean, maintained, so that, and they must be given training on health and safety. Some of these people, who are working in this with animals, they have to be given certain vaccinations and all that, because even the human beings who are working in with the animals can be prone to lot of diseases. So we have to give them so we have to see that our staff, so according to this paper, our employees are well looked after, right? So we have to maintain the same standards. So probably all that means high cost for us. High cost for us. But that's the way for us to go forward, because we can't do it. Then another ethical risk is, you remember we were talking about yesterday about the small farmers who are supplying milk to us, their supply getting discontinued. Right? So that is a big ethical risk. So the way to go forward, we discussed yesterday. Again, we will re-emphasize and say we will not stop them immediately. We will continue to buy milk from them and take our milk half to Milko, half to supermarket. Okay? So we will continue. So otherwise, because according to the scenario, they are saying they are going to stop it. So that's a big ethical risk that we might have it if we do that one, because we have to be responsible corporate citizens. We can't put people on the road after buying the company, isn't it? So these are the ethical risks. So what today, tomorrow, you will write the answer. I will send you my feedback on what you did yesterday, right? And you will write the answer again on these areas with all what you have mentioned, and put up a nice, start and a nice end and do it. Right? Yeah. So when can we have our next session? Day after tomorrow, hold on first. Friday. No, let me see how I'm going to be tomorrow, day after. Yeah, just a minute, I'll see whether. Tomorrow is Wednesday, no? Yeah, tomorrow, say I go to church and come back by 9 o'clock, I should be free tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow we can do, because Thursday I will get late. Thursday I have a Bible study. By the time I come, it will be late. But tomorrow I can do it at about 9 or 9:30 or whatever the time convenient to you, I can do it tomorrow. After 8:30 I'm free. After 9 o'clock. Shall we make it 9 o'clock tomorrow? Okay? Right. So we will continue some more things on this area. So tomorrow 9 o'clock we will meet. Okay? Right. Okay. Have a great day. Bye. Bye. Bye.